Woke slop Western developers are absolutely getting destroyed. First by themselves, and now China is smelling the blood and thinking to itself, we can accelerate this. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with this. I want all of these companies to shut down. I want all these developers that are gonna go politics first, that wanna push their messaging down our throats, to get fired, to be blacklisted, and, well, maybe if we're super lucky, be homeless or something like that. It is the dream, okay? If they're true communists, they should sacrifice their stuff for the greater good, and if they need to live on the street, that's fine by me. It's a sacrifice I am willing to make them make, okay? It's that simple. God, I hate so many developers. They're so repulsive.
It looks like the video game industry might be changing as Western slop is finally losing its funding. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, over the past couple of years, we've talked a lot about Tencent's small investment in a large amount of companies, and recently, Ubisoft has been a big point of discussion because it seems that they are either really struggling or we are talking about an acquisition being announced in the next few days. They halted their earnings report release, they stopped trading, and they said in the coming days we're going to make a big announcement. At least that's the way we all took it and the way it had sounded, though there's
If you are, I don't understand this. If you're a company that's being bought, why do you need to do any of this? Because it literally doesn't matter. I don't know. Because the way you acquire a publicly traded company is you buy out all the shares. And typically that's like, I don't know, 20% up what they're trading at, or, a lump sum. And you just buy them out. It depends. But that's how it happens. So, if you can do this in secret, and there's no stock price bump because of speculation that you're going to be bought out, you shouldn't theoretically care about doing any of this. So, whatever is happening, I don't think is Ubisoft being bought out by Tencent. Again, the Guillermos want to keep Ubisoft for themselves. So, whatever is happening is something big, definitely. But I don't think it's just Tencent buying out this. They have like 50 billion deals with Ubisoft that they are not allowed to actually just own Ubisoft. So I really doubt that that is what's happening. Now I want to really know what's happening, and there is a chance that it is happening, but there's some kind of twists and turns to it. There's always a possibility in finance, and in finance like this, that I don't know what's happening. Neither do you. Trust me, neither do you. There are very few people versatile in the knowledge department when it comes to stuff like this to actually speak on it. And I am definitely not one of them when it comes to these type of financial things. I can speculate with a reasonable understanding to a degree, but still, the possibilities what can happen are really a lot here.
rumors circulating that Tencent's finally acquired them, that this IP sort of creative house they created just a couple of weeks ago, Vantage Studios, was the initial plan they were going for, but that they said finally enough is enough. We're just going to outright acquire Ubisoft. Now, if that's true, who knows? Take these reports with a grain of salt, though it definitely looks like Tencent is turning off the faucet for Western slop because it seems that Western studios are facing a major problem with getting funds from them. So Tencent owns Swedish developer Sharkmob, which announced in October that the supernatural battle royale Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt will be taken offline in April 2026, says it will lay off an unspecified number of employees as part of plans.
God, I'm surprised that this thing survived. It didn't look that bad. I have actually seen it, by the way. It didn't look that bad, but I mean, this is literally a Be Black Vampire the game. which is quite insane.
and changes
But then again, it's Sweden, so you know how it goes.
to its organizational structure. The studio said Exoborn, the tactical open world extraction shooter announced during the Game Awards 2023, remains in development. And this is really fascinating to me because we just recently saw Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 release, and that was a complete and utter failure. And I think they were hoping that Vampire the
Yeah.
Masquerade was going to be able to be a big series. And I thought at one point it could have been too. The first game was really
I mean, it still can be. The takeaway from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is that there are a lot of people who really, really want a good vampire game, that there is huge interest in it, and the IP itself is extremely powerful and probably could become one of the big things in gaming if handled correctly. I mean, think about it. Warhammer is still not in a domineering position in gaming, even though it is one of the biggest franchises, IPs that currently exists. And it's one of, by far, the most recognizable ones. People who don't game can tell what's Warhammer at this point. And yet, gaming-wise, what do we have? Rogue Trader that I haven't played? That some people have played. It's pretty good, people say, but I don't know. I haven't played it. Not a lot of people have played it. Sure, it has. Sure, well, okay. Shouldn't say not a lot. And a decent amount of people have looked into it and played it and whatnot. But it's not the breakout hit that the 40k IP should be. Space Marine 2 was massive and everyone loved it. And after that, what? Fucking silence. Nothing. So, I think Vampire the Masquerade could be on that same level. It just requires a studio that decides to make a game, not go fucking woke, and that's kind of it.
really good. A lot of people liked it.
Oh, by the way, you know what else people liked? Oh, this video! So please like the video right now. It takes less than a second. It greatly helps out the channel, and I appreciate you doing it. Big thank you to all of you who do like it. It does make a difference. It does help me, and I do appreciate it. So thank you. And if you think this is important, then definitely like the video right now. Takes less than a second. Thank you.
Bloodlines 2 came out, didn't capture a lot of people's attention for the better. And Blood Hunt was okay, but they didn't add any like new
Actually, I also think that Bloodlines 2 captured a lot of attention. If you look at all of the videos, all of this stuff, those numbers are huge. Those numbers are way, way bigger than actually the game got players. So, I mean, there is potential there again.
maps, new weapons, new modes, new abilities. They didn't try to innovate. They just sort of set it and forget it. So it died. And that's what's going to happen when you have a game in such a competitive market. And now they're working on a tactical open world extraction shooter when those have now sort of become a dime a dozen. You can play something like Arc Raiders, you can play something like Escape from Tarkov. I just don't see a lot of people being interested in this, though maybe it will come out and at least be okay. But I can't say I feel all that bad for Shark Mob. So in a statement to games industry, Shark Mob said the layoffs will allow it to sharpen their focus and align their efforts on the continued development of Exoborn and position them for sustainable growth. But a release date hasn't been set yet for this new title, and the layoffs at Shark Mob come less than 2 months after deep cuts at Funcom, also owned by Tencent, which included the outright closure of Metal Hellsinger's developer, The Outsiders, and that one really hurt me because Metal Hellsinger was a fantastic game. It deserved a lot more recognition, but
no idea what that is.
Either way, we are talking about Tencent shutting down studios, cutting off funding, making these studios go through major restructures. And we also know that back in 2024, they laid off over 500 people. Riot Games, the developer of the popular League of Legends.
Based. Riot is literally dying to wokeness. But like, Valorant is a shadow of what once was, and that is very specifically because of wokeness, by the way. It is like the core thing to actually point on. In Valorant, you can actually get banned if you call out someone in a ranked game for trying to do furry roleplay instead of actually playing the game, it is insane. The community directors, the developers, the people at high positions in decision making in Valorant have all come out and said, "Oh no, 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 none of this bigotry, okay? This is gonna be a safe space for everyone." Like, Valorant is not a game. Valorant is Club Penguin for the mentally deficient at this point.
Legends multiplayer battle game was joining the other tech companies that had been trimming their payrolls with a layoff of 11% of their staff. And of course, they are owned 100% by Tencent now. And this was always going to be a problem. When you allow one company to invest in a lot of other companies, you're going to see them exert control over them. Tencent is pretty smart because they get around regulators by investing a little in a lot of companies. And if they buy Ubisoft, I do think we are going to see the perception of Tencent really shift. But a lot of people just see Tencent's
I have talked about this so much. I don't know if people are getting this idea that Tencent is this company that overthrows and buys out shit. They don't! If Tencent buys out Ubisoft, this is gonna be a first. Tencent just invests in companies that look like they're gonna do good in the future. Tencent doesn't even actually demand that companies do anything. They're in grinding gear games with Path of Exile. They're in so many things. They just look at a game, say, "Yes, this is currently doing well. It's probably gonna keep doing well in like a year or something. Let's invest in like 20%. That's what they do. Tencent does not just randomly overtake companies. I have no idea where people fucking got this idea from. It's completely wrong. Tencent doesn't do that. If they do that with Ubisoft, if they try that with Ubisoft, that would be a first, in fact. They don't. Riot Games is a completely different deal, by the way. Them owning Riot Games is... I don't remember the full history, but effectively it's like... They just... But did they approach... It's different. It is different. But even in Riot Games, Tencent is like, well, we're not exactly going to push you to do anything. Because you're making money and it seems like you're going to make money in the future, so we're kind of chill. That's what Tencent does.
and go, it's Tencent. It's not that big of a deal, but it will become that big of a deal if they start actually, exerting this control. And of course, we are talking about a Chinese entity. They are controlled by the CCP, and the CCP is now partially controlling our entertainment. Same with the Saudis. I think that this is definitely a very risky and probably not positive situation, wherein, though, we are also talking about really a company laying off activists. And that's why I feel a little bit mixed on this news, because on one hand, sure, I don't want a CCP entity to control my entertainment. But at the same time, they're doing what these Western companies will not, and that is fire dead weight. They are getting rid of the people who are not doing their jobs. They're trimming the fat. And I think that that is really good. And I really do believe that's going to help the industry for the better. Because if we get rid of these posers and these losers and these activists, and maybe, sure, they rehire some veterans and they actually hyper focus on making a good small team instead of a large mediocre team, we could see positive changes. The issue, though, is that, of course, you don't know how Tencent is truly going to act. One day they could just say, enough is enough, we need to censor all this content, characters have to look a certain way, you can't use certain words in games, and that is that. It's like, where wins me? I've been enjoying it. I think it's fun. It's NetEase, and also another CCP.
People also don't understand the fact, again, this is different from America and Europe, but if Tencent tries to overstep something, Europe is just gonna force them out. They're gonna just sue them on their grounds, and considering, well, you don't sue China in China, but you can sue China in Europe when it's doing stuff. Now, America is a different thing. America is allowing China to buy up farmland and, military bases and whatnot. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm sure nothing bad will come of that. And, senators sleeping with literal Chinese spies. I mean, don't worry about it. It's fine. So it's different for America, but if Tencent it wants to invest in Europe, that's kind of fine. But the moment China is gonna try and make Europe be dependent on China, Europe's just gonna say no. This was already a thing that happened this year with Trump's presidency. By the way, if you did not know, when Trump said that he's completely cutting off Europe or whatever was the spiel, and it was like, okay, now we're now no longer friends, now we're enemies. And China literally came in that moment to Europe and said, hey, let's be friends. And Europe completely told them, no, we would rather die than be a part of China. That's pretty much the summary of that one. So, we're kind of safe.
The entity. You can't say words like Xi Jinping, Winnie the Pooh, idiot, retard, fuck, bitch. You can't say any of that. And that right there is censorship.
Something, a couple of what are numbers, a couple of numbers, and something a square.
At its finest. This is a fun game, but there's always going to be a limit to how much support these companies truly get from me and how much support they really should get from you. But we're talking about something happening in the industry right now that is affecting a lot of companies. There are a lot of studios going through these deep cuts, but Tencent is
Base. The more cuts, the merrier, in my honest opinion. Anyway, that was Mommy Very Dark. 10 out of 10. Bye.